All right, well, today is Friday, July 22nd, and we woke up this morning to find out that our dear friend Paddy Hopkirk passed away. I thought I could get through this, but I just want you to see the emotion that I have for my friend. Paddy passed yesterday, July 21st, Thursday, 2022. So 1933 to 2022. He'd be laughing at me right now. He'd be cracking jokes, but I loved him very much. He made me feel like part of his family. And in 2019, I got to visit Paddy in his home, and we did a really intimate video where we got to see his first car and walk around his house, and we sat in his kitchen with his lovely wife Jenny, and I got to meet one of his sons, Patrick, and we talked about tennis. But most of all, we got to enjoy just being with Paddy and seeing what he was really like. So if you haven't seen this video, I hope you guys enjoy this. This is a really sweet, great video of Paddy showing me and my really dear friend Eric Newland around his personal home, and it was a really special time. So please enjoy this video, and thank you, Mr. Paddy Hopkirk. Paddy, will you stand right there?
Sure.
So I can get a picture of you next to your car. Yeah.
Red with a white roof.
That's perfect.
But slightly more comfortable. And probably quicker too as well.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And you want to see around the front of the house here,
yes.
Just to show you.
You can show us anything you want to show us.
No. Just you haven't been before. Oh, Bertie.
How much property do you have here?
I've only got about 10 acres.
That's
in
England, that's a lot, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Not really.
Well, maybe.
I mean, the farm here's got thousands of acres, you know. No, it's nice and quiet.
It really is.
Apart from helicopters and airplanes and things.
That was your helicopter, right?
No.
That's where you go to the Grand Prix?
No, I don't know. Drive to the Grand Prix now.
Now, this is really beautiful, but I turned around and then I looked at this and went, wow! Now, if that isn't England.
That's very English.
Yeah, that is English right there. Wow. Man, that is cool.
Yeah, probably not so practical, but it actually works well. I'll tell you, they built houses well in those days. I don't think there's any foundations, you know, it's
really?
all mud. Man. But it doesn't move. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you've been here 37 years.
Yes, I have, yeah. It's only been on the market about twice in the last 100 years, this house, I think, yeah.
And it was built in 1540. 1540. The United States isn't even that old.
No. Yeah, but it's built out of old, because the breaker's yard is not far from here on the river, and when they came up the Thames, they used to break them up, and they took the beams, and that's what the builders used. So the length of the beams decided the size of the rooms.
Wow. And so the beams, or some of those were the ones you said, watch your head now, and those are
unfortunately,
from a ship.
Yeah, if you look at them, you can see the slots where the deck went, you know.
Oh, man. Well, hey, what are you going to do with old ships?
Everything I say is being remembered. I better not use any bad words.
I don't think you have so far. This is great. What an experience.
Well, listen, you probably don't want to live here, but it's nice. I like it. I want to die here, you know.
Well, that's how I feel about my home. You're taking us to see your very first car, Paddy?
Yeah.
Does it run?
Yes, we had it running this week, but it's not easy to start it.
I'm pushing Paddy Hopkirk's first car, a 1922 Harding, out into the light so we can get a better look at it. There we go. How many cc's?
250 cc Jap engine, motorcycle gearbox, driving one wheel.
What does JAP stand for?
It was a make of an engines. They're very famous if you look them up. It's hand starters in there. It's like a kickstart, you know.
Oh, look at that.
And then 3-speed gearbox, advanced retard. Got another picture of me as well. That's 1939, I think. Start of the war.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
That's the engine.
It's your
that's
start
the
sequence.
throttle settings on the back.
How old were you, Paddy, when you started driving this thing?
Well, I was born in 1933, and I drove it when I was in 1940.
Now, is it true that you learned the famous Paddy Hopkirk handbrake turn in this car?
That's right, yeah, because the brakes only work on the rear wheels. Not very clean, is it?
That's okay. Hop on in there.
To clean it out.
Is this great or what?
So this was it.
This is.
It had a different windscreen in them, but actually it was an old wooden frame.
Here, I'll hop in with you.
Yeah, there we are.
All right. I'm sitting in a 1922 Harding with Paddy Hopkirk. How cool is that?
I'm sorry we can't go. And there's the steering. Look.
It's a tiller.
It's a tiller steering. And that was the handbrake there. That was the brakes, the only brakes. So when you put that on the rear one.
They want to slide around. Did you prefer to turn left or right?
You know, I can't remember. Probably right, because I didn't have anybody heavy like
Oh,
me
you could
sitting
pull
beside-
on that and push
Yeah,
forward.
And you were on the right hand
Yeah,
side.
yeah, that's it. I bet you were
push
doing
forward, yeah.
righty-tighty.
I think so. That's interesting. I can't remember that. But
Now, how did you get this car back in your life?
I went on BBC London some years ago when it was the anniversary of the Multicolour Rally, and he said to me, usually, how did you start? And I said, I had a thing called a Harding, and it was scrapped in Northern Ireland. And some guy rang the BBC up the next day in London and said, I'm a motorcycle restorer, and I think I've got a Harding somewhere. And he was in Dulwich, southeast London. And I went down the next day, and his house was full of motorcycle bits. His wife was going mad. He had them in the bathroom, in the dining room. He was building motorbikes everywhere. And there was a box, and he said, I think there's a Harding in that. And I went over and I looked in the box, and there was the registration number, IJ9670.
Oh, you still remember the number.
So I bought it, and the charity partly restored it, but 2 years ago, a very good friend, Bill Price, who's with BMC, and a friend, they restored it for me.
That's
And
fantastic.
got it going, got the engine going as well.
And this is the car.
It is, absolutely.
Wow. That's remarkable.
And the chassis number and the registration number, it's all genuine, you know.
Wow. That's just unbelievable.
The axle, the wheels, everything, the engine, that's all OE. The hood's different, it's new, and the windscreen's different, but all this is original, absolutely. If you look at the photograph there, that photograph's taken in Belfast in I think 1940, at the beginning of the war, in my house outside Belfast. And if you look, it's exactly the same, and that's an Irish registration number from County Down.
And this car was given to you as well, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, the local clergyman owned it, and I used to bring him grapes from my father's greenhouse, and he died, and he left it to me because he knew. And then I rebuilt it again. I took the engine to bits, and so I was good at mechano sets, and it was a good challenge. And to drive it was very nice. I was, four wheels instead. I had a motorbike, but this was four wheels.
Did you
Terrible job getting tires and wheels for, I had the wheels refurbished, but getting tires, because it used to be beaded edge tires.
Yeah.
Used to go round into the rim, and you can't get those anymore.
This is fabulous.
So you wonder if a museum would be interested in this.
I would imagine so. They would have to be.
I
It's
don't
almost
know.
100 years old. Come on.
Yeah, well,
That's,
you're right. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And I went to Harding, the old factories, where it was is still in Bath. I went down and looked at the museum there and everything. And they did make Bath chairs, and I've got the catalogue and all that of the model.
Really?
I've got a picture of it, yeah.
Oh, man. This is really a thrill of a lifetime.
Well, you're very kind, thank you.
This is exciting.
Nice, somebody to see it.
Oh, well, we love you, Paddy, so anything you want to show us, we're really fan. But, I mean, it's your first car. This is
Yeah,
just really-
absolutely, yes.
I mean,
And you need to, well, it was nice to have a car when you were 9 or 10.
well, yeah, not many 9 or 10-year-olds had a car, right?
And,
My first car was a Mini.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
And chicks dug it.
I think you drove me in it last year. That's why I'm
It was
like
a bit hot. Paddy, thank you so much for showing us your
Not
first
at all.
car.
I'm sorry it's not driving, but to get it started, it's
Oh,
not easy.
It
and
was
what
worth
have you.
it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
This is a thrill of a lifetime.